So I think I wanted to talk about this topic because it's a very important topic in this day and age, especially right now in the gaming community. And it's about realism in video games now. So this is something that I want to tell my story first. This is something that I cherished a lot in the past. So I would never usually play any game that wasn't really realistic. And like if you told me to play, like, I don't know, Skyrim, World of Warcraft, I would never play those games because they weren't really realistic. But no matter how fun they would be, I just wouldn't do it because I wouldn't see the fun in it if it wasn't very realistic. I would always play as a kid. I would always play games like NHL, Madden, because they're sports games, and sports games, or sports is realistic. So, and that's something I would be into all the time. And then I moved to Call of Duty, which again, it was it's supposed to be kind of realistic in the past. With the new updates, obviously I became I liked COD games, so I started playing more, no matter how unrealistic they were. And now in today's age, like now I'll literally play anything if it's a fun game. So an example of that is Fortnite, right? Like, I mean, now this is not actually, I don't really like Fortnite that much, but I still play the game because one, it's popular, and two, I do have fun from time to time in that game, especially if I'm playing with friends. Like solo, it might be a different story, but if I'm playing with friends, it could be a really fun game, and I gotta admit that. So, as much as that game is unrealistic, especially with the building, like obviously you can't build that fast in real life. I think it's a really fun game, regardless of that. So I still like the game when I'm playing with my friends. And now there's a lot of like controversy with new games and their realism. So one example of this could be Battlefield 5. So in Battlefield 5, I think on the cover of the game, there's a woman, and Battlefield 5 is based around World War II era, and a lot of people are upset because most women weren't really on the forces in World War II, and to have a woman on the cover of Battlefield 5, it makes a lot of people triggered. And honestly, to me, it doesn't really bother me that much. It doesn't bother me at all. Actually, I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, I feel like a video game can never be as realistic as everyone wants it to be. There's always going to be glitches. There's always going to be stuff like that that's going to ruin the realism of a game. And so, no matter how realistic a game is, it's not really realistic at all. Like I can think of a very realistic game, Rainbow Six. And at first it was very realistic. The operators had equipment and technology that we have in today's day and age. But now I feel like there's some things that the new operators have that don't exist in today's world. So an example of that could be like Echo's drone, right? If you put it up in the air on the ceiling, it goes invisible. Like it goes cloaked. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't think that cloaked is anything. I mean, unless I haven't been keeping up with my military technology, I don't think cloak is a thing right now. I don't think we invented that. So obviously that's not realistic at all. But people still love the game, and that's the point. Rainbow Six is a very fun game. So I wouldn't really understand why people get so mad over a woman in a game, just because it makes the game unrealistic, while we have these other features that make the game unrealistic. Another game is this is one actually I'm really looking forward to, and it gives me a big throwback to my childhood, and that's the new Spider-Man game that's going to be coming out in September. So when I used to play Spider-Man 2, that was on the PS2. I actually, to be honest, I played the game very recently. I found my PS2 and I actually found the game, and it was a big nostalgia moment in my life because I used to play that game all the time. But I remember in the new Spider-Man game, in the gameplay video, people were complaining about how the physics in the game were unrealistic. Well, I mean, it's true, yeah, they're not realistic, but you know, you gotta keep in mind that Spider-Man isn't realistic. You know, he's a superhero in a comic. He's not really supposed to be realistic. You know, there's no human on Earth that can, you know, sling webs and, you know, swing through Manhattan and save people with a Spidey sense and, you know, all these different superpowers that Spider-Man has. You know, like, that's not realistic at all. So why not try to make the game as fun to play as possible? Because when I was playing Spider-Man 2, I remember I was you know, swinging through Manhattan. And I gotta say, that was like so fun. It was so satisfying to just swing very fast from one building to another, and then just wall ride, and then go back from to a swing, and then like landing on a building. That kind of stuff, like, it's very satisfying to play that kind of game. And you know, I remember playing it back in the day, and then playing back like a week ago, and you know, again, nostalgia, but it was just a very fun time that I had. And the thing is with realism is, and this is something I realized, you know, and this is why I'm okay with games not being realistic anymore. The more realism there is in a game, the more boring it gets for a game. So, you know, if we had just World War II with just like these boring outfits, you know, the game wouldn't be too cool. Like right now, you can't see it in the gameplay, but my character has like kind of like that ghost mask with the badass outfit, and you know, this is one of my favorite like outfits in the game because it looks so badass. I just absolutely love it. Now, obviously, World War II soldiers were not wearing this on the battlefield, and they weren't having diamonds blunderbusses. But it just brings more fun to the game. You know, it gives you more challenges, and that's the thing with realism now. So, realism, it really just brings out the boring in a game. So you have to have like an imagination, and you have to have some creativity in a game, even if it's not realistic. And so that's what I love about the new Spider-Man game, is that there's, you know, there's not real physics, but that's the point, and that's what makes the game fun, and that's what's gonna make it great. You know, but that's basically my talk, you know, about realism in video games. I think that, you know, this is a very important step. Now, I'm not saying that realism should be taken out of games. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I wouldn't mind a game with, you know, that's a realistic game. You know, if Rainbow Six came out with another game and it was just like there was literally nothing wrong with it, like no futuristic equipment or whatever, and no futuristic guns, then that would be perfect. You know, that's a good realistic game. People are gonna like that. But I'm thinking, like, I'm saying most of the games that come out now should just be out of the developer's creativity and make the game as fun as possible for us to enjoy. But I'm done talking here. If you guys have any more ideas on how to make a game more realistic and fun, let me know. Let me know. I'm gonna be interested to, you know, see. And I'm not shooting anyone's ideas down, because I do like very realistic games, but you know, with the creativity, games get more fun with that. But anyway, I'm gonna be done talking. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later.